It is just another normal day in the realm of crypto, and we do see a lot more news coming out. But does this change the market sentiment? That's something you have to actually ask. Because some of these assets, which actually showed you that I'm about to break higher, RSI already showed you like I broke higher, I retested and bounced. Now, if you're going to look at that, it literally is like, okay, I'm going up. It already went up like 60%, right? So that's just one asset in the market. Now, there's a lot of different assets which actually show you like I'm breaking higher. This is my measured move. So what happened after that? It went there, it hit that level, and it corrected back down. So if you're trading, it's important to know your target and to take profit. But what's the takeaway from this? Look at this. Money is coming into the market. It's 2 billion a day coming into the market, which is increasing, right? Which is increasing. There are people who are concerned about the market and moving out. Agreed. But compare this 350 million to 2 billion. That's a huge difference. These guys are doubling down when these guys are moving out. So you need to choose one direction where you are going to go ahead from here. Because the market right now shows like I'm moving up. This is my volume. And you happen to see a lot of other assets like H bar, which is breaking higher and moving higher. Like we had our breakout call, we had our targets. It's literally bursting through all of those. Now, if you look at what just happened there, it kind of clarifies everything. Like here in this asset, you broke higher and the volume came in to support that. So it's not only you watching that breakout, it's the market taking that breakout and the volume increased. Now go back to data. You actually see that. You zoom in, you get to see that, okay, there was no much volume there, but with the breakout came in people with money and the market went up. Same as here. You had slow movement to the upside and the volume was really low. With the breakout relative to last month, you started getting volume and right now you're moving up. Now, we are still half the way because the measured move is still way up for the macro pattern. The short-term pattern, yes, you're going to go up. So the market is suggesting that I'm breaking higher. On the altcoin side, not all assets, I agree. We had Ether, which we talked about in the last video, right? We broke to the downside and we are here. Why? Because it's actually literally following Bitcoin. Bitcoin happened to break to the downside and it is still there. The retest is not confirmed. We are not breaking to the upside back in or getting rejected. We are retesting right now. Whereas XRP stands its ground. The rounded bottom is still there. The bull flag is still there. We did not actually break higher yet. We need more patience. But if what we have seen here from the RSI, what we understood here from the RSI is certain, then that does mean that RSI is breaking higher. MACD is about to cross to the upside on the positive territory. So on a short-term note, XRP is becoming bullish. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Now, I couldn't actually do a video the last day. Sorry about that. First huge winter here in Canada. Removing snow was easy, but the ice part really got me. That was tiring one. Anyway, now looking at the market for XRP, we do have a lot of positive news coming from the Davos. And one of which is this. And I'm like, okay, that is promising. Because right now we know that central bank digital currencies are going to come out for sure. And we just got the information that more than a dozen. Now he used the word dozens, so I assume more than a dozen. In between they are more. We are not sure, but one of the documents which we went through in the last video showed us the reality that more than a dozen. So I'm still sticking with that one. So in between 10 to 24, 36 central banks are working with Ripple, and you are going to see something coming out. We are literally watching how things are evolving in this space. Because what we get right now from the Davos is that they are talking about big market. The target market here is huge. Tokenization of the stock market That means huge. Now you need the back-end processing to be fast enough. It's literally super slow right now. You can buy a stock now, close it, whatever you want to do, but the back-end settlement of that happens late. You buy a stock on a platform. When they buy the real stock from the company or the broker dealer and then get it back, then sort those things. It takes time. So the back-end processing is going to be on an infrastructure which is interoperable. And that's where what Brad talked here in Davos really makes a lot of sense. Like, he sat there with these guys. You can call them elites, you can call them, the leaders of different kind of institutions. But what it mean for me is like, okay, bankers, central bankers, big corporations, all of them are there right now. Whether we like World Economic Forum or not, they are now discussing about the future, which involve us, right? If it's a CBDC, it's going to come out. Now, if you're in a country like India where, there's still a lot of population who do not use internet, then it's okay. Now, they can't literally force CBDCs on you. Fine. But then again, you actually see this. And I'm like, okay, that literally means big thing. In Asia, you have 2.8 billion internet user. But again, you need to understand India is like 1.4 billion population. China is like same. So right now you have like 2.8 billion just there. Now you have Pakistan, now you have Bangladesh, Asia is big. So that means a lot more people will be onboarding to the internet and the new payment system for sure. So that's why the fundamentals are super strong. There is, no sense in saying this technology is going to go away. Short term, you're going to see all these volatilities. 100% agreed on that. But what will be the impact on the medium to long term? If you're here, you're already looking at this and saying like, okay, that's a short term opportunity, which I'm seeing. If we break to the upside, fine, agreed. But if you actually take that out and take another step back to look at this, you're like, okay, I'm still here. We have not yet broken to the upside. Agreed. But I would actually ask you one question. If you saw this on a daily chart here for engine, then for HBOT, all of this actually showed you something clear, crystal clear, that the strength from the buying side is increasing and breaking to the upside. And then what happens? The price follows. Now, you need to actually keep this in mind. That's one of the reasons why I always use RSI. RSI showed you that I'm breaking to the upside when the price was still here. So that was like a leading call saying, okay, this is going to be great. So now we come here. This is right now we are looking at XRP on a 3-day chart. If you plot this correctly, there's something you get. Now you can zoom in, you can play with it and try notching it to the 100%. And you're like, okay, that broke higher. This is actually bullish. That's looking good. Now, if you want to go on a daily certain, you can actually go do that, connect all these resistance here. And this is what happens. It actually shows you I broke higher. I'm moving up. I'm trending higher. Now, why do I say that? You remove this pattern trend kind of stuff and you are looking for the trend line on the horizontal level, which is your resistance, which just turned into a support. Fine. So if that is what the RSI suggests you, go look at the price. It's no different. It's showing you the same thing. I'm trending higher. I made a higher high. I'm trying to make a higher low. And if this happened to break higher, which the RSI suggests, okay, we are going much higher in terms of the price. Now, again, this is a short-term view. We are not literally looking at what happened in the past like 3-4 years to see what is the actual target for the medium term. It can be about $2. Most likely, it's going to be close to $3 to $6, right? If the SEC case is not solved, then 100%. That's going to be a target which we are going to look at. If we get something bullish from that end, then yes, there is a lot which is going to change. Now, the same aspect here, what's different here is it's a daily chart. You got this breakout. So that means in next few days, maybe 30, 40 days, you get this follow up. Here in Engine, it just took like 15 days. It just followed up. It just went up. But here on XRP, you literally get a huge breakout on a weekly. Now, the issue is it's a weekly. So you literally need 15 to 20 weeks to go through that kind of parabolic moves. That's why when we look at on a daily, we say like, okay, on the short term horizon, we did see that it is breaking higher, which means from 0.39, we may actually move to 0.7 or $1, not like $30 or $100 or the speculation of $30,000, right? Short term, yes, agreed, this is going to move. But now, again, the question is, if you are in this market and you are literally observing assets doing like this, and some of them, literally getting more and more volume, and those are, interesting asset. Why do I say that? You go look at this particular asset on a macro chart and ask yourself about this. I believe we talked about this last time. In a bear market, it was trending higher. In a bear market, it was trending higher. So that actually shows you what was the level of interest which the market had for this particular asset, which is super strong. That is a macro asset breaking to the upside. Now, the same asset right now shows you the macro is changing. I'm bullish. Now, maybe I can be wrong, but again, I personally do think that we are breaking to the upside after a very long, tiring waiting period. Now, that happens to be all the way from November 21 till this time. And right now, when you're breaking through that, ask yourself one thing. What changed? Did you happen to actually breach these resistance? No, you did not. Now, you can actually put that question here asking okay, this was the previous all-time high. We did go below that. Yes, I agree. Now, that's on the 3-day chart. Take a step back on a weekly. Now, look at how many number of candles did reach there. It's just 2 and it wick down. That means on a monthly, it was a long wick, and the wick happens to be coming back to this range. One of the reasons why I say this market is so rigged is for the short term, because the macro players, the institutionals, the whales, the big guys, they look at a monthly chart and play this game. But, we are the normal, literal human beings, and we do not have that amount of patience, right? You don't have next 20 years to play here. You don't have next 5 years to play, most likely. You're looking for next 6 months to next 3 years. Fine. In that sense, if you're breaking here, you're looking for 3-4 months of a trade, right? You broke higher here, agreed, 1, 2, 3, and that was 4 months of a trade after consolidating for this long. That's a long period of consolidation, which you just saw here, right? From 2018, 2019, 2020. That's 3 years of consolidation before you actually went up. Now, after that 3 years, you can just say it's a 50x run to the upside, which means institutions, they had a long time horizon. They had big banks to wait, the repositories of money, it kind of gets connected to them, and they waited that long and made this 50x. Now, those of you who entered with the breakout, the lucky guys, it's going to be great. Same thing here. Right now, when you're looking at XRP, on a weekly perspective, the RSI actually suggests to you that we are going to break higher soon. So if you don't have that amount of patience and you're in XRP and you came in the last 6 months, last 1 year or 2 years, I agree it's a hard time because you came in somewhere around this time when the market was going up and you saw your portfolio going up, and then all of a sudden it starts coming back down, down, down. Each time we are going up, we are getting heavily resisted with a lot of macro news, which is hurting the market, right, as a whole. Agreed. But we are in a market which actually shows clearly some of these assets, fundamental assets with utility, is actually now bouncing back. And literally, if you look at technical analysis in one way or the other, and you're like, okay, I'm waiting for this pattern to break to the upside, now that's actually a good call, because right now you're still having this idea of a higher high and higher low. So technically speaking, you're still having room to test this 0.4. Now, is that actually a big move? No, it's still a short-term move to test the macro resistance. Once you break this level, that's when you have a long way to the upside. That's what we just saw in H-bar. We broke to the upside. We have a long way to go. It's a fundamental asset, payment asset. We know that, right? Once you are in the market and you're observing that there is a lot of money coming in, you then have to ask okay, FTT, are you willing to go back into that asset? Now, there is a lot of rumors US, FTX, US is solvent, it's going to give money back to the customers. But do you really trust to go back in? Now, if you have that amount of risk appetite, that's completely great. That's cool. I don't, right? And I think a lot of you would agree with that. Now, for those who are stuck in that asset, good. If the price goes back up, you guys are lucky, you get your money back. Now, the point here is like, if you're observing the market, it literally is doing 50 to 100% a week on a lot of different assets. And you do have opportunities. And if you are looking for something like that, where there is a breakout, where there is a macro change, where there is a huge opportunity, and you like to take the benefit of that, say this is H bar, and we are talking about this, right? So as it happens, if you would like to take a look at these opportunities and take a well-educated guess, because the posts are going to be like this with explanation at the bottom saying, okay, I'm going to do this, trying to break to the upside to short-term resistance and targets. And you just saw like, okay, we hit those levels. Now, why is it necessary? Because I highlighted this. Volume comes in, people do trade, and they do take profits. That's why this come back down. Now, it did break higher, so you're going to get a retest and go back up for sure. So if you know these targets, it's going to be really helpful for you to exist in this market as we go back up. So manage your risk well, be in the right assets, and make profits. So that's it for today, guys. If you like the video, please do hit that like and subscribe button. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.